Hello everyone, I'm Martina Saldi. I'm the go-to-market manager for data security for Microsoft Australia and New Zealand. Nice to meet you all.
Hi everyone, thanks Martina. I'm Dave Edge, I'm a cloud security architect at Arinco.
So today we discuss about lack of detection controls. So we see from the report that the 10% of customers have a lack of detection controls. So from what we see, comprehensive detection and prevention of command injection vulnerabilities remains an open research and development question. So Dave, from what you're seeing in the market, why aren't customers enabling threat detection features and tools, and what are the key considerations you can make on this?
Thanks Martina. We see a number of challenges in this area. Probably the first one is knowing how to detect security threats. So a tendency to kind of log everything, send that into a SIM or a SIM depending on your flavor. There's an associated cost with that, of course, which then makes people potentially a bit hesitant to do that. But one of the most significant ones is probably a lack of awareness or the enablement of threat detection features within products. So for example, using the capabilities in licensing from Microsoft, for example, for capabilities that you've already bought. So, not understanding what an E5 is and what it comes with, using those versus your existing vendors or tool set. So moving away from having, a best of breed approach to a best of suite and a combined ecosystem. In that context, Defender, really brings to the fore the fact that threats are moving from single instances to more a series of events that take place, none of which may particularly be suspicious, but we need to evolve the threat detection capability to deal with the understanding of those threats in context. And then finally, we just have this issue of complexity and deployment, things that are enabled, features that should be enabled that aren't. So no visibility or lack of visibility of whether or not that's the case. So some of our key actions or calls to action here, before we worry about a SIM, there's an awful lot of threat detection capability in native Defender capabilities. So before we worry about a SIM, make sure that we've enabled those and understood how we can benefit and leverage the things that we've already paid for. In order to mitigate some of the coverage and deployment challenges, use things like the secure scores available in Entra ID, device secure score, Azure secure score, to identify recommendations from there, which include, that will highlight where there are gaps in coverage and features and things that could be enabled. In terms of logging and what to log and what products to maybe configure and how, there's some really good information in some of the Microsoft incident response playbooks that talk about the prerequisites. So if you have a look at those, so some of the key cyber incidents like phishing or password spray attacks and app consent grant fraud and that sort of stuff, reviewing those and understanding what's required in order to detect those is then helps with how we can enable components or which features can enable and how to do that. In terms of that series of events across different platforms, there's of course the XDR capability from M365 Defender. So reviewing and using that as a way of bringing together those siloed threat detection capabilities into the ability to identify a series of events and to respond to that. In terms of the log ingestion issue, Sentinel Solutions have got a breakdown of the data connectors and the logs specifically that are required, so you can really use that to drive and rationalize what information you're logging instead of logging everything. Really understand what it is that you need to log in order for that log to produce some effect. So they're over and above the Defender products, there's analytics rules that can be enabled specifically on top of some of the Defender threat detection capabilities that enhance and add some value. So they're definitely worth considering when you reach that next level of maturity. And of course, mustn't forget Security Copilot, which is a potential game changer, we think, particularly with the security operations space. So the ability to drive into an incident or an alert to get some greater information or insights into what's triggered that, to create and expedite the creation of investigations. So if that's
Yes.
custom query languages or custo query language, stuff that might take a while to develop and then to use, that significant amount of time is saved by through Copilot, and really elevating some of that initial triage and investigation work that might be done by a more senior analyst. You can kind of start to share that workload around the team and to then be able to describe to people and summarize what it is that needs to happen and get insights on what responses to take.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for the insights. Really interesting.
Thanks, Martina.
Thank you.